Hi folks, Scott Grove here. I have been asked to do something that I should have thought of on my own. But thank you so much for the request for this video, and anybody else out there who wants to request for videos, I will be more than happy to honor them. I've got a list about yay long, but we're going to get to all of them. I'm knocking a few of them out today. This one is for 12-bar blues. For those of you who do not know what the heck a 12-bar blues is, I'm sure you actually do, you just don't know that it's called that. A bar, of course, is a measure, just a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. That's a bar. So the song is going to have 12 bars in each progression. A 12-bar blues is those songs, let's put it this way, you're going to have a lot of backing tracks that we're going to be working with in this video, and that you will be able to play with later on. This is a 12-bar blues. Okay? You'll recognize it. Check it out, listen. You've heard these everywhere. It don't necessarily have to be blues, it can be rock and roll. Not rock, but rock and roll, like Chuck Berry and ZZ Top. But I'm going to show you how to do the playing within that, like this. So things like that, okay? So I had a request to do the 12-bar blues. A guy wanted to know, how can I do the leads, chase around, not have to actually chase chords. So that was in the key of A. So we're going to be going from A to D, back to A, up to E, back to D, back to A, like a 12-bar blues does. I'm going to show you how you don't have to change and chase all the chords. So you're playing along in the key of A, and you're playing your regular A stuff. And then all of a sudden the song goes to D. Do you have to go to D playing lead guitar? No. You don't have to go chasing the chords. You don't have to all of a sudden have to go to D. No, there's secrets. When it goes to E, do you have to be playing an E? No! I'm going to show you how to play every possible, dang near every possible lick you can imagine. How to do transitions to these chords. How to do phrasings for 12-bar blues. And like I said, we'll do it to the rock stuff too, where it's not just, we're actually going to, you know, so even back to the Chuck Berry days. Okay, still, we haven't changed chords. We stayed in A the whole time. But I'm going to show you how to do all the lead guitar stuff through all kinds of 12-bar blues. You're going to get to play along. You get to jam with the jam tracks, all jam with the jam tracks. We'll just sit here for 2 hours. We're going for 2 hours, kiddies. So a 2-hour course here. So if you want to know the ins, the outs of how to play 12-bar blues, we're going on 95% lead guitar on this. And there will be some cool little things that I think you should know, rhythm-wise, being something like this. That are all chords that you can probably stick in. So we about 5% of that. So anyway, get ready for this video. Order this video. If you've already got it, you're listening to this again. 2 hours, kids. This is going to be fun. I'm really psyched about this one. Thank you so much for your requests, and thank you all for all your requests. And if I haven't said it enough to all of you who keep ordering my different videos I keep putting out, I do this for you. I have a ball doing it myself, but thanks for all your support out there. I really appreciate you letting me do this actually now for a living. It's a thrill for me. So once again, thanks to y'all. So 12 bar blues and rock and roll all coming your way. So hang on tight. Here we go. All right, folks, we're back. I'm way down here, or way up here. Up I go again. Anyway, for those guitar heads out there, want to know what the heck this thing is? This is my new love. This is a 1978 Ovation Viper 3. Has 3 single coils in it. See if you can see those dudes. That one's actually the pull pieces, angled like the Strat. But hey, look, we got 24 frets. Everything is positioned exactly how it should be. 3 toggle switches so we can turn each one on and off. We don't get limited to 5 things. We can do 7 positions. We can get the Tele sound, we can get the Strat sound, we can get all 3 pickups on at the same time. This thing is phenomenal. This is what they call a Strat killer. So any of you guys out there, I'm actually literally thinking about selling off all the Strats. I've got about 30 of them at least here. And going to a whole bunch of these. Yeah, knowing me, probably not. I like to hoard them up, so I'll grab a bunch of these and hang on to the Strats too. But superior guitar. If you can find these things out there, grab them, man. These things rock. And they country, they twang, they do it all. Amazing guitar. Okay, so now back what we are actually here for. I'm going to grab a drink. Y'all have you one. Big old iced tea. Not a Long Island. If you got one, hey, more power to you. Okay, so now 12 bar blues. For those of you who don't actually know what the word or the term 12 bar blues means, it is this, and I will count it out for you, and you'll say, okay, quit counting, I get it, but I'll go all the way through it. I'll play it nice and simple. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3. So it just goes through like that, and you go all the way through 12 whole things of this. There's 12 whole steps to a 12 bar blues. It's actually just counting how many bars are in this thing. There's always 12. Okay, so that's what they're called. If we were to actually go through it, it would be 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, 6, and 7, and 8, and 9, and 10, 2, 3, 4, and 11, and 12, back to 1. So that's just 12 bars of music, okay? And I happen to be playing blues. Okay, let's carry it on over to rock and roll stuff like your Chuck Berry, your ZZ Top, your Georgia Satellites, your everything else that happens to be. They still call that 12 bar blues. Okay, so we're going to learn what to do, what not to do, which there's a whole lot of stuff to do, and there's actually not a whole bunch not to do in 12 bar blues. There's what I want to get you away from is chord chasing. So we're going to work out the key of A for about, dang near an hour right now. You could put these in every key, of course, and then we'll all get you out of this and stick you in some other keys. But do not chase chords. You don't have to. You can to get all these other licks, but you don't have to chase chords. Chasing chords means I'm playing in the key of A. Okay, so I can play a typical lick in A. Then it goes to a D. I'm going to play a D9. Do you have to switch to a D now? You have to play there? No, you don't have to. Don't go chasing. Don't go changing to try and please me. Somebody give me a pill, calm me down, give me some Ritalin. You can stay on the 1 or the root in the A. Okay, so you've got this. You're playing. We're still in A. Now when I switch to D. That's the only time I switched was in E. I stayed in A as far as my thinking and my playing goes, even though we were in D. Okay, so quick example. I will play the progression. It goes from A to D to A, just like all 12-bar blues will, depending on if you're in A. Now listen, I will play the exact same little phrase. Just like, take, the old blues singers, they say, oh, my mama left me, or whatever. And then they would go on the next chorus, oh, my mama left me. It's the same words. So you can play the same thing just like they're singing it. Think like, an old, black blues cat would do, man. Dude, that's our first lesson, is to try to grab the original blues. That's what it's all about, man. These guys had it together. And this is what it's all about as far as the blues part goes. And me telling you how to stay in A, even though the song just switched to D. I'll play the backing track, and I'll do a real simple lick. You'll hear it. Here we go. Going to D. Now we're right there. We're going to E. Okay. See, so it didn't matter what chord we went to at all. I played the same thing. Just whatever the guy you would envision singing, that's what you play. Okay? This is a feeling thing. So there is rules and there is not rules. Okay? So that is one of the rules, is you don't have to go chasing the chords. It's cool if you want to. Example, of course, like you've always done. Let's go to the beginning again. I can find the button. I know I can. I'll just play in simple A, then I'll switch to D. Here's A. Now I'm going to follow it. D. Now I'm back to A. Now I'm going to follow it to E. Follow it to D. Follow it to A. Now I have to... Playing an A there. Now here comes D. I'll chase it. Now I'm going to chase it to A again. Now I'll chase it to E. Chase it to D. Chase it to A. You end up all over the place, which is well and fine. I'm going to show you licks, and that is perfectly valid. But the main question I got asked when asked to do this video is, how can I actually stay basically in one place and get some real feeling out of this thing? This is how you do it. You don't go around chasing the chords. You play the vocal part. It's the best way I could describe it. You can play guitar parts later and really freak people out. Yeah, but you want to be soulful, which is the first part of this. Like I said, we got 2 hours, but you still got an hour and 45 minutes of this to go. So we're going to cover all the bases. Right now we're concentrating on the soul part of this. So let's do a quick simple phrase over the key of A. I'm going to teach you every lick as we go. You probably know a lot of these. That's okay. Is that one. Okay, which is, we're going to bar across the 5th fret on the E and B string. And then we're going to actually bend. Of course, this is not for beginners, folks. We're going to bend using our ring finger on the G string, 7th fret. All 3 strings at once. Okay, so the rest of that lick, if you don't know it, then hit the high E. Then we're going to the 8th fret on the B string. Pull off to the 5 that's already there. Okay, the rest of it is 3 notes, which is 7 7th fret G string, bend up a whole step. 5th fret on the G string, bending down towards the floor half step. And then finally resting on the 7th fret or your A note on the D string. That's the lick, okay? Great blues lick, very standard. Again, slowly. The whole thing, I'll step back. If you need to see the right hand, I can't afford split screen, folks, sorry. And the right hand. Get some vibrato in there, get some blues in there. Okay, now that is one you can use on A, and then when it goes to D, you can use the same thing. Goes back to A, of course, same thing. When it goes to E, you can do the same thing. All the way through the whole song, if that's the only thing you want to play, you're allowed to play that lick. Okay? In context, I'm only going to play that lick. Here it is with the track. I'll do it louder. Okay, so that proves to you that that can be used all the way through it. Yeah, sure, it sucks once it gets old, but you can use that. So all you chord chasers that are always switching when the chord switches, that proves you don't have to go off and do that. Okay? So a good way to break that up, okay, I've proven that point. Again, I'm thirsty. Is to take a little bit of that, and that goes a long way, is to come back to that in the middle of another chord. Play something else in between. So you use that as, if you want to pick that as your main lick for the solo, cool. But come back to it again later, but do it again over top of another chord so that it sounds cool, but throw other stuff in with it. I'll make a little homebrew as we talk right here. Same lick, and I'll come back to it even in D or even in E. So there we are, bringing it back in. You'll go back to it every now and then. So don't be afraid to use every single lick that you know. Right now, we're in the key of A. That's all we're concerned about in our whole life. Don't be afraid to use every single lick that you know in the key of A over top of A and D and E. They are all valid. So use all your knowledge of every A lick in the world you know over any of those chords. It makes no difference. Okay? That's the one rule with this kind of music, is there is no rules. It's a beautiful thing. Things to use. Okay, so that, hopefully I've driven that point home. Hopefully that will take half of the scare out of most of the 12-bar blues stuff. Do not go chord chasing unless you want to. Again, this kind of music is all about feel. Wherever you want to go, it don't matter. But if you want to stay there in that place, by all means, don't be afraid to keep playing your A licks because you're over top of these things, because you're not in the right key, supposedly, because somebody in a book somewhere, or another video that you spent $10,000 on that don't teach you nothing, unlike these, told you to do. So play all your A licks. If you know 500 A licks, play them all. I don't care, in any of those 3 chords. It makes no difference. It really don't. Now, on the other hand, all the D licks in the world, you know, you can't be playing them over top of the A's and the E's and only the root. Whatever key you're in, you can play all the licks of those you want. Okay, so all the A licks in an A 12-bar blues, play them. They are valid. Period. Okay, so let's get you some cool licks. Okay, that was your basic standard cool lick. Of course, I'm going to show you another basic one, which is this, when it comes back to it here. Okay, all this is something you could play this all day long. To show it to you better in text, I'll actually mess around with it a little bit. Here we go. Check this out. So we're looking at those. It's nothing more than a 7th. Hopefully some of you know it. For those of you who don't, hey, welcome to the world of 12-bar blues stuff. Okay, what we're doing as a 7th, if you picture a D chord and move it up to the A position, meaning that your ring finger, you take this whole D chord, pretend like your fingers are glued together, move it all the way up, so instead of your ring finger being on the 3rd fret, your ring finger is on the 10th fret. So everything else looks like your D chord. Now make a 7th out of it, that's right. Okay, and all we're concerned about is the 2 strings, your G string and your B string. So get rid of your finger that was there. So we're actually looking at just making that a 7. So you're going to actually have those 2 strings and these 2 notes. So we're looking at putting, hey, pudding, that makes me hungry. Either 2 fingers you want to use are fine. I would actually use these myself. Ring finger on the 9th fret on your G string. That's your E note. Now we're going for a G, which is your 7th, on the B string. So you're looking at the 8th fret. So now you have an A7. Hit both those together. We're sliding a half step back, 1 fret back. Getting that type of a sound. Now, when you can actually move, I want you, to go into a seizure. All right? I want the epilepsy to kick in. Sorry, if you're epileptic, sucks. We've all got our demons. But use it to your advantage, man. Work this thing. This is cool. Play it this way. All I did there was just backed it off a half step. It by by putting your pinky down and actually finally hitting the A before you go to your D or whatever. If you, like I said, with our epilepsy here, our seizures going on, get this thing going. Make the girls happy. That's right. So down here you're looking at... So if you can get, that old butterfly picking, thing going, that's cool too. Whatever works for you. Again, it's a matter of taste. If it don't taste good, don't eat it. By that, I'm just simply going up a whole octave. I hope we already know what these are. Same thing, just an octave higher. So you're actually up here at God knows what now. 21st and 20th fret. Again, with this guitar, I luck out 24 frets. Who would think I would need them, but they're there if I want them. Good thing. And Bumblebee it. But that's just a good one to use. Again, in context. Be cool with it too, man. Be mellow like a blues player. Just some more examples how to use the same thing. I went ahead and switched up and used different fingers. Try both fingers, see which fingering works for you. Same thing, just using different fingers. If you use your middle finger here on the 9th fret and your first finger back here on the 8th fret of the B string, then you can actually have your ring finger open to do that. That little bend from before, 5th fret G string, towards the floor half step. Shake the heck out of the 7th fret there, your A note on the D string. And you can keep that going, of course, just like I said. Break the rules, because there are no rules. Check this out, over top of the A and over top of the D, okay? And over top of the E. Make sense? I hope it does. Again, that's just another cool little lick. Pardon all the little shiny light bulbs, but you guys got to be able to see me. I don't have a professional lighter here, so you get to work with what I got. I have to work with it. You get to work with it. So that's another great lick, simple lick, but to prove to you once again, you can play the same A licks over top of all 3 chords. Okay, like I said, we're going to stay in A for at least a good hour here, and you can transpose these into anything else. If you're actually buying this video, or watching this video, you've apparently bought it, then you already knew how to play, but you were trying to get into learning how to play this kind of stuff. So I'm going to speed quite along, quite a fast pace, and you can always hit the pause button, go back anytime you need to. Okay? Okay, now the next thing we're going to do is another simple lick. It's not even a lick, it's just another note. And hopefully you know this. If you don't, here it is. You've got your A right here again, being your A, and your B, or your A note and your E note on your E and B strings. What you're doing there is putting your ring finger on the 8th fret on the E string, middle finger 7th fret B string, hitting those. And then just back to where you were. When you're hitting these two here on the 8th and 7th on the B, feel free to shake them up. Shake it up. It gives it that nasty, ratty blues sound that you want. You want that stuff. Blues is not pretty, it's nasty, it's soulful, it's about losing something, man. You want it back. It's the blues, you're crying. That's just another one of those. You can fit it. It's just one of those nasty licks that you can just cram in there. Okay, and again, it don't matter what chord it's over, as long as you're in the key of A. If you go to another key, so if you're in the key of B, same thing. Just transpose the thing, bring it up 2 frets. Okay, so that is another cool lick. I won't even put the backing track on, but that's just another cool shake it up, easy lick. We're gonna get to hard licks. I'm bringing out the easy guns right now. So if you're that's already half your solo for you. The first one I showed you is that lick. That's the first one I showed you. Then I followed that up with okay, half of another one, and you can actually using that thing again, and that part again. That's half your solo, man. That's a great solo already. Okay, now to move along, now if you are going to chase chords, let's give you some good licks to use in all these 12-bar blues things. I'll give them to you in A. We'll move them around. We'll stick them in D. We'll stick them in E and transpose them around. Okay. Another basic, good, simple lick. I actually took this one from Ace Frehley from Kiss, oddly enough. I'm sure somebody did it way before him, but this is who I took it from. Is nothing more than on your G string, again, that bend you do on the G string, use a finger behind. I'm going to go ring finger, 7th fret, G string, but I'm using my first finger at the 5th fret on the G string to help me bend this up. So you're bending up a whole step. If you don't know what a step is, a whole step, it's 2 frets. So it's going to go from D, bending to E. Get used to making that. Same bend we did before. Hopefully you bent it that far. But we're only after the middle one. Okay? And thing with this one is to stutter. I want Mel Tillis out of you. I want you guys to be stuttering. All you want to do with this is feel the thing. Hopefully the feeling will come. I cannot teach you soul. I cannot give you mine. Unless you're the devil and we're on the crossroads, I'll sell you mine for a little shot at fame here. But I'm gonna strike a rock pose. Are you digging it? Strike a pose. Vogue. Okay. Okay, so we're bending that. Is that you're stuttering, you're coughing, but you got to do it with some soul, and it's nothing more than that. And then you're coming back to the from our very first lick, 5th fret, bend it halfway, half step towards the floor, then end up at the 7th fret on your D string. Okay, so that's it again. Things like that. It's such a cool lick. I'll put it in context with some other junk. Okay, so that's how you fit everything together that we have learned so far. Okay, this is just an example. You do what you want. This is for you. These are tools for you to build on. Okay, so take them, make them your own. Other licks, like I said, these are the easy ones, so they're going to get harder. I want them to get harder. Another cool lick is the typical, and some of you know this, some of you don't. Let's get back to that thing we were doing. I'm going to go ahead and do it with my middle finger at the 9th fret, my first finger at the 8th fret. So we're talking G string, B string. That thing we were doing. Okay, while you're doing that, you can bring it right back to where it actually goes to A. Because if you make an F chord right here at the 5th fret, you took it from F, so now it's that. If you actually get rid of the bottom finger here, your ring finger, it looks about like we did before. Okay, so that's what we're going to resolve to, is the A. So you're starting here at A7, and hard to believe the A is only 3 more frets down again from there. It just switches from an A7 to an A major within 3 frets. Like the old well, it is, but it works, man. Check this out. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing. Check this. Here it goes. Okay, and one more time just to prove it. We can put it in anywhere. Check this out. Okay, so there you go. Case in point, it works. Same stupid simple one. Hopefully you know this one. If not, we're going to blast through this quickly because it's a must-have, and if you don't do it, shame on you. Okay, which is simply okay. So we're doing this on the G string and the E string. In A, we are going to slide up from the 8th fret up to the 9th fret on the G string, and then hit the E string, which is fretted at the 9th fret. So you have this. And then hitting your G string again. Same stuff, but without the going up part. We're just going down. Okay, so that's all the same. Now we're actually going to do like the F chord, but we're going to bar across on the 5th fret across all 3 strings at the 5th fret. E string, B string, G string. You're only going to hit the G string, hammer on from the 5th fret to the 6th, and then pluck your E string. So okay, if you have time to hit that high E string. Some of these you won't have it. You can just stop it with the whole thing. Okay, you're seeing me do these 9th chords. Hopefully you know them. If you don't, here's these. Like I said, we're going to blast through them. Hit pause if you don't know something. Okay, 9th chords. Here's A. I know you guys know your A bar chords. Okay. First we'll hit that one. If you don't know it, here it is. You're in A, doing your A bar chord. If you don't know it, go look it up somewhere. and you're sitting there hammering on, pulling off at lightning speed with your middle finger from back and forth. You've got everything barred across here at the 5th fret. We're worried about where your G string is at. So with your middle finger, you're going to be hammering on, pulling off like a bunny going at it with your middle finger. So you get... That's just a cool little lick that you can use that always adds a little flavor instead of all the time. That gets old. So go... You're just sliding into the chord. Now the 9th chords that I promised you. Instead of going to D, no, we're doing blues. There's no regular 4 chords or D chords. Okay, you go to a 9th chord if you're playing blues. That's just kind of the rule for the most part. What that is, and here's how you build it. Go up to the 5th fret with your middle finger on the A string. 4th fret with your 1st finger on the D string. Okay, so there's your 1 and your 5. Or I'm sorry, your 1 and your 3, don't slap me. And the rest of them are actually going to be your ring finger barred across the 5th fret on your E, B, and G string. Okay, we'll get her in nice and tight there so you can see what's going on. If you can't see it this way, there it is that way. We'll take it this way. Oh, where's my cameraman? I need to hire somebody on board here. Anyway, so going right down the line, you have this. Play it with me. So you actually have a D, F sharp, C, E, A. Now here's some fun. Here's the 5% rhythm thing I said I'm going to show you. Is right here. Okay, there's your chord. So you're playing an A. Slide up to this 9th chord. And we're going to move it around, give it some flavor on this thing. Put a little stank on it, okay? So we're going to that chord. D, because that will always name it. So remember your A string is always going to name your 9th chord. Because that's right, under your A, just like if you're playing bar chords, you drop down to the D. Same thing happens here, but you're just doing your blues sounding 9th chord. This will make all the difference in the world for you if you're not doing it. So we're going back, flatting at 1, and then going forward a whole step and bringing it back. So slide into it. That type of stuff. You could do it that way. Like I said, it's all about the feel. Okay, so we're back in A. What the heck was that? I'm just picking them out one by one with this hand. Okay, it's so on the E string, B string, G string, whatever you can pick out and let them keep ringing. That's a cool thing to do. It's just another little trick, but that is how you do in the D. So you're going to go to the D9 and back to A. When you go to E, do another 9th there. Back to your D9. When you do that, use 9ths again. It's just much more flavorful, much more bluesy. So you end up with this. those. That's how you use your ninths. That's how you get some flavor out of all this stuff. Okay? Make sense? Okay, on to the next thing. Another thing I actually got from Ace Frehley, who stole it from Chuck Berry and Carl Perkins, and about every other blues player probably to ever live. But again, I was a Kiss freak as a kid, don't blame me. The first little lick we did, we are only going to change that slightly and have a whole new thing that can open up doors for those of you who do not know this. It's simply that. So again, the first lesson we did, barring across the 5th fret, E string and B string with your first finger, and at the same time using your ring finger here at the 7th fret on the G string, do all 3 until they tie together. But you'll do it so fast nobody will know. Hit the high E string, which is fretted at the 5th fret, which is simply a pull off from the 8th to the 5th. So your ring finger, pull off at the 8th, pull it off to the 5th fret, and then hit your high E string again. So you have again close for this hand, and back here again. Okay, that is just a stupid little lick, but worth its weight in gold. I've made a lot of money off of it just by recording it and playing it in bars forever. Incorporate it into here. Here we go. You can play this thing all day long. So that shows you how you can do that. And in any place, any time, any form, stick it back in the E, or you can chord chase with it. And that's a great one to chord chase with, especially coming down from the E to the D. I'll let it keep rolling. Try to find out where I'm at. Back at the 1. Oh. I'm going to chord chase it. Here's E. Okay, so there's our example of chasing the chord with it. So that's a cool one to chase the chord. Okay, so right back into all the other stuff. So you can see how this is tying everything together. Okay, now we're going to move to something that is way out there, and this is overbending. We are going to overbend. Best way to show you is to show you. Okay, you've heard it. Here's how you do it. It hurts. You've got this. Have you tried this? Okay, that is some serious overbending. And if you're not careful, You got brand new strings on like I do, slightly may cause you to go out of tune. But hey, if your strings are nice and stretched out, nothing to worry about. Okay, and that is no more than what I've already showed you, but killing yourself to do it. Easier way up here. And it sounds cooler way up here. So let's go way up here. Okay, so we're in the A position. We're up here at the 17th fret, like you're doing what you were doing before. Let's get back up there, but a whole octave higher. If you don't know what I did, I went from the 5th fret, and basically you know that the guitar starts again at the double dots. Go to your 5th fret past the double dots. So you were 2 dots into it. Go 2 dots into it past the 12th fret. And you're back to where you was. So that note you're bending in the middle on the G string, put that finger behind it, your first finger, and use your middle finger now. So we got 3 fingers on there. That's how we're going to get the strength to do this. But you got to control it, but yet make it sound out of control. So instead of, see how we're using all 3 fingers to bend this sucker, is bending it way out of shape. And then resolving back to your A. The thing we've done all along. And the big trick to that one is getting the highest bend. Each bend is higher than the one before, so keep track of where you're at. And that's where you gotta look cool too. You gotta get the face. You gotta throw the guitar around. You know, chicks dig a guy who has that grimacing face because he's working hard. He's not just playing the guitar; he is working it. Okay, it makes sense. Trust me. So that's just another little trick. Is you hear it all the time. There it is. It's just that simple on how to do it. Okay? Another easy one, then we're going to get on to some funner, harder stuff. Is funner a word? It is today. Is this. Your A on your G string is up here at the 14th fret. It's also back here at the 2nd fret. Okay, so up here at the 14th fret is where we're going to concentrate on. I want you to be doing these. So you've actually got your pinky on the 15th fret on your high E string, your ring finger 15th fret on the B string, and I want you to put your first finger on the 13th fret of the B string to help with the bending again. I love to use 2 fingers to bend. So let's have those, hit those 2 strings, the E and the B, bend the B string up a whole step only. Okay, and we're going to do that. Which is what you have. Release that bend, so you're back to the 15th fret on your B string. Pull off to that finger that's already there helping you bend at the 11th, I'm sorry, the 13th. So pull off from 15 to 13. And then finally end up on the A. So your 14th fret on your G string. Okay, that is, or those are the notes. What you do with them is coming up next. You can do that. There's another phrasing. It's a popular drum fill. Go figure. Sounds like words in a rap song. Yo, 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 do. So that is a phrasing of one particular way you can do it. Or you can just do just the one note, not even have to include the high E string. simply take that and strip it down. That's just simply alternating picking as you're releasing that bend. Get the English siren sound. This one goes to 11. So you can do everything with that one. Use it to get into that. Use that thing again, that stutter and meltilus again. Then there's a weird one. Bend that a step and a half, which means 3 frets. See? 3 frets. But towards the floor. And then hit it again. Towards the floor. That's right. That's what I said. I ain't taking it back. One time in context with all that mess. Okay? All kinds of phrasing. But using just that little stuff. Okay, hope that makes sense. That ties it all in. There's your phrasing. I get to switch tapes. We're getting ready for our second hour. Anyway, so I'll see you in about however long it takes you to get to the second hour of this. It's going to be magic. Watch this. Ooh, we're back. Check it out. Okay, we're all set up for a whole new genre of this thing. We're actually going to talk about the rock and roll side. We'll go back to the blues here in a second, actually slow it down and get a little more soulful. But right now we're going to the rock and roll side. We're staying in A. Why? Because we like you. M-O-U-S-E. Anyway, we're going to do a cool lick. It very well lends itself to the rock side of it. So I want to put you there. And this lick, to show you how it goes, I'll do the lick for you. I've done this lick in a couple videos, but it really works great for this one. Is in frame. Long lick. But this dude works, and the guy who asked me to make this video was asking me, I can use that, Ebonics, man. I'm all good with it. So he was asking me to show how to get from one chord to another, how to do a transition. So if you're going to go chord chasing, this is one of the best licks to chord chase to. I'm going from A. Takes you right to D. Okay, I'm going to show you how to get to that. Here it is in context. Okay, and 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's what we call a transitional lick. Like I said, the guy who asked me to do this was more interested in transitions, how to get from one chord to another without sounding like you're chasing it. This is the perfect lick. And you could do half, part, all of it, some of it, none of it, whatever, but this is the jewel of this whole video right here. The lick goes. Okay, Okay, so we're actually on E string. We're using 2 fingers to bend. Put one of them here on the 10th fret. That'll be your ring finger. And you're going to pull off to your first finger, which is already waiting and helping you bend, back here on the 8th fret. Okay, and then we're just resolving on the A, which is on your B string at the 10th fret. Okay. Pretty soon it gets very repetitious. We just do one lick and we take it 3 different octaves, so it's not that actually that tough. So we have that. That's a pull off. Pull off, and then to your A. Then you straighten out or flatten out your finger to get the high E string on the 10th fret again. Back to the 10th fret. So you flatten it out, then bring it back up to grab the 10th fret on the B string again. So then you're just doing hammer on from the 8th to the 9th fret on your high E string using your 1st and 2nd finger. So you have. Okay, that's the hardest part of this lick. Okay. And then we got a little thing in between, then we'll start repeating things. Once again. Then we got, which is 10, pull off to 8 on the B. 10 to 8 on the B. You got 9 on the G string, back to 8 on the B. So it's a pull off, that one. So, and then you have your choice. You can either start right over again, down here, or we can do it this way. I'll show you both ways. To do this, of course, is simply on your G string, 9, 7, 5, as a pull off, slide. So here, 9, pull off to 7, slide to 5, and then we go to the 7th fret on the D string, which gives you your A. Or you can go, it's a simple bend down towards the floor on the 7th fret on the G string. Start with it pre-bent, already there. So, here's the first one. Or, we can go that way. So either way, okay? So it's up to you. So from that, then, same as before. Same here. So if you did it the same way, same lick. I don't have to tell you the positions. We're between 7 and 5. Because it's just like the first one. Now we do this. On the 7th and 5th, set, pull off, 7, 5, 7th on the A, and then 7th back on, or 5th, I'm sorry, back on the D, 7, pull off, 5, 7th on the A, then 5th on the D, so okay, which is bending on the 5th fret on the A, back to where it was, resolving it, pull off to the 3rd fret on the A, and then finally hitting your A on the 5th fret of the low E. Whole thing. we go to the D, which is simply C, C sharp, D, or 3, 4, 5 on your A. Again, in context, here's the whole thing. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that takes you up to your D. So that is a monster, but a great transitional lick. Okay, so use that in as many ways as you want to. Break it up. I'm going to do nothing but licks that are made up of that whole thing. Check it. See how to break it up. So you see how that goes. You can make it your own, make it up, break it up. Okay, so it's just a matter of personal taste. Don't take everything that I show you at face value. Learn it the way I show it to you, and then just totally destroy it. Pick it apart. That's the way you're going to remember stuff. You're not going to remember junk. Let me get down here and make a point. YouTube. Wonderful thing. You get free little licks, blah, blah, blah. But you're never going to remember these things because you have to take what I show you, dissect it, make it your own. That's what's going to ingrain in your brain, is what you come up with. You take what I give you and destroy it. Tear the holy heck out of it. Put it back together in some other way. Make it yours. You remember the stuff that you come up with. You don't remember the stuff that everybody else shows you. You get stuff. I hate tablature. I know 9 out of 10 of you probably use a junk, but I refuse to give it to you. And I won't give it to you no matter how much you beg or ask. I'm not going to waste my time. It's, to me, it's a pain in the butt. It's wrong. It's sick. It's evil. You need to learn without everything being shown to you. So dissect everything I'm showing you, and like I said, rip it to shreds and put it back together in some other way that works for you. If you like what I'm showing you, cool, use those. You'll remember those, but the stuff that you come up with out of this is what's going to make you sound like you instead of making you sound like me or the guy on YouTube or, you know, whatever. Everything's been done before except for what you are getting ready to show us. Everybody goes on and on about Hendrix or Eddie Van Halen. Yeah. Fine, they all deserve all the praise in the world. Whoever your guitar hero is, blah, blah, blah. You have a reason for loving them. Give people reason to love you. You can't be a clone of that guy. Don't be him. Let him influence you a little bit, but don't try to sound like him. That's what happened in the 80s. Everybody sounded like Eddie Van Halen. You know, it's like 5,000 people sounded like him. Everybody was having all bumblebees. Shoot that thing. So make all this stuff your own. Tear it up. Okay, I'm going to go back up here so you don't have to stare at my pretty face. It makes you jealous. I know it does. Another thing, I'm going to actually take you to the major blues stuff. So that's what I'm going to give you for the rock stuff. All the stuff I applied on the blues stuff applies to the rock thing too. Same licks, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to try to teach you some feeling if humanly possible. Let's find another backing track that I put together. I don't want to use anything that I did not make up because I don't need the copyright infringements. Okay, this is going to G. We're going to play in the key of G now. You like my drummer? That's my Casio keyboard. You gotta love that. So we are in G. So you see what we're messing with. Big G, typical blues stuff. Everybody's favorite key to play the blues in. For some reason, I don't know why. Maybe because people play slide in the key of G is easiest for them. Hey, maybe somebody else got a slide video too. Shh. Okay. As far as playing in this key is exactly the same as all others, of course. Got a sip of tea. See, I refilled it. Ooh, that's what that magic thing was about here 13 minutes and 48 seconds ago. Anyway, my baby's home. I hear her in the other room, kiddies. It's always a beautiful thing. Hi, honey.
Hi.
There she is. She's on tape for the first time after 30 videos. Okay, now in the key of G, we are going to do, like I said, try to teach you feeling. That's going to be the hardest part. Again, I'm going to play the track for you. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro. Check it out. Okay, now as you can hear on here, this one has some major swing, some slow groove to it. What we're going to try to point across to you is the less is more as far as the slow blues stuff goes, especially when it comes to people like B.B. King. He can milk more out of one note, which he does more than anything, especially these days at his age. No slam there, B.B. You had your good times. But that one note can actually say more than all you cats out there trying to stick 300 notes within a matter of, a couple seconds. When it's time for a solo, it doesn't mean it's time for you to play every single note you know in the world. It's time for you to try to invoke a feeling and take people somewhere. That's actually your job, is to take them on a little journey and get chicks. That's usually the other job. But we're here to learn how to play guitar, not pick up chicks. That might be another video, you never know down the road. So the thing to do is, if, like I was telling you earlier, especially in the key of G, I don't know what evokes the feeling in G, but if you can just milk the holy heck out of this one note. I'm going to go to here on the 5th fret. We've done this a million times. And I'm only going to play that note. And I'm just going to play it here and there. But that one note will say a lot more than you playing 10,000 notes like a flippin' bumblebee. Now check this out. Here's an example. Like I said, that's going to be the only note I play. And 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that's just an example of taking that one note and bending it every which way but sideways and cutting it off with a pair of wire strippers or something. And that's about all you can do with that one note. But then again, that says a lot more than you coming up here or sitting there doing that junk all day long. Okay, so we're going to try to invoke a little feeling here. One way to do that is, there's a cool little thing here that we've already done. Let's go to G, or a G position. And now instead of going so much concentrating on the E and B string, I want you to do that. But then I want you to also be covering the G string. So I want you to be covering E, B, and G. Okay. That's the other thing I'm going to try to milk out of this, is so you can play the two together on the E and B. Then we will say you're covering the B and the G string, all on the 3rd fret. Then finally you're going to grab with your ring finger on the 5th fret of your D string for your G. And I'm wanting a lot of vibrato from this thing. Okay, simply because I want this out of it. I'll find a place within this backing track where I don't have to listen to the Casio all the time. But listen how easy this is. Let it breathe. So actually the holes that you put in there where the thing breathes is just as important as what you play. So what you don't play has just as much meaning, if not more, as what you play. Because putting the spaces in the right place actually invokes a feeling. You gotta say what you have to say, come stop back, think about it, then think about what else you want to say, instead of blurting it out all at once. Otherwise, you're going to get yourself in the doghouse. So, say a little something, then think it out. And I know it's not a guy's way of doing things. If you are a guy that's currently watching this, think about what you say before it comes out of your mouth. Otherwise, you get in a lot of trouble. Same goes with guitar playing. You're going to be making a lot more of a statement if you think about what you're getting ready to play or say before it happens. So give it time. Like I said, leave holes for this thing. Leave time to think about it. And it's those holes that actually count. So that was using just that as the root of everything. When I went to the C, I simply went. So I'm covering the B string and the G string with my third finger, my ring finger. And that gives me my C. And wiggle the heck out of these things. We want vibrato. I don't want to say wiggle when we're doing blues, that's a whole different thing. But when we come back to G, we can hang back to this. You can hang there anyway, like I said. You can play every one of these licks throughout everything. But it sounds kind of nice every now and then to actually follow the chord and go to the C. Which we'll go to right now. We'll actually follow the chords, but try to make it not sound like we're doing so. The only way you can really do that, and again, this goes out to you who requested this video, the way to really make the transitions to the chords and not make it sound like you're chord chasing is to leave the holes. Okay? One more example, and it will be like that. So we are on C, we're going to G, we're going to D. There goes C by itself, now back to G. Okay, now what I did, if I can ever shut down the machine here, what I did is when it went back from G, or from D, when it was in C, I didn't play nothing. So I didn't have to worry about it, I just let it breathe. But when I went back to G, I played. Then I did that. That bend we do. What did that note go to? It went to D. From the G. So instead of going up there and trying to play a lick in D, I actually just played my G lick, but I picked a note that would actually go to the D but during my G lick. So it don't sound like I'm chasing the chord, even though I actually was. I was looking for a D note to put in there so that it would go somewhere else other than staying in G. I'm not trying to tell you guys to stay in the key of the song all the time. I just tried to invoke the fact that you can, and you don't have to chase chords. Now we're going to chase chords without sounding like you are, because chord chasing just sounds worse than anything in the world. It just sounds like you know a couple licks, but you're going to try them in every single, just try to follow around the chords. I did that for years, but we're going to try to skip over that so you don't have to feel the same pain I did. Okay? So again, we're in G. Now we're getting ready to go C. So there's a C. I'm going to be quiet. We're in G again. Here's D. I bent it back down. Okay, just exactly the same thing I did before. I went up to the D, but I'm still using the G lick. So here comes D. There, everybody switched to C. I just let my D drop down to that C. Then, our typical thing that we've done at the end of everything. So, I'm just trying to be sneaky by taking our G lick and doing it very slowly, picking bits and pieces, and tracking, following the chord pattern, but just a little at a time. But nobody knows I'm doing that. Nobody would know it anyway because they don't play it out in the audience, but they hear what they know what they like. There are certain things that are ear friendly and certain things that are not. You actually literally going up to and actually chasing the chords, doing that over and over, that gets really old really fast. So that's why we're here, to learn how to not sound like that machine. Okay, let's get another idea here for you. Okay, that there is something that brings the point. If you are chord chasing and you're in C, okay, so the song has went to C, so we were in G. You're up here, and then the key changes to C. So you're in C. Now how do you get back to G? Let's bend into it. Don't just go right back to G, because you're in C, so we want to make a smooth transition that doesn't sound like you're trying to chase the chord again. Because if you notice earlier, we did the, so I just actually went out of a lick that went from in C, because we're here at the 17th fret on the G string, or down here at the 5th fret. We'll put it down here so you can mess with it. It was cool up there. Play it up there later. But for now, we'll get it on screen. Here at the 5th fret is your C. So you're already playing in C. You're already chasing the chord. So that bend, which was already part of what you were doing, brings you right back to G again. So that's taking an F, bending it back to G. So we're in G. Okay, you're playing in G. Now you decide to, when it went to C, to play in C. Now it's going to G. So you might as well use that bend that you were already doing so it don't sound like you're chasing it. Instead of resolving on the C, which you don't want to be doing now in the key of G, you just might as well just take that F note and bend it up to your G. That will sound very smooth. That's a great transition. So G. Okay, so once you're stuck there in G in this position, how do you get the D? Okay, you knew your C was right here, right? Because that's what you were playing over before you decided to get yourself in this predicament. You were playing a C. Now we gotta get the G. We found out that's how you get the G. Now we gotta get the D. Where's the nearest D? Nearest D, well, here was your C, and you're already here. Your D is going to be right here at the 7th fret. How do you get to that? Do the same thing you were just doing, but finally resolve it on the D. Because you're on the G now. Now we're going to D. Okay? It's just right there. You want to look for the closest thing available. Back to D. I'm sorry, I went right back to G because I'm looking for the next available G, which there's your D. If I just stop that, there's my G. So you're back there. You're already right there at it. Just look for the next one available, but not one that's halfway down the flipping neck, because then you're chasing. Look for something that is all right within the same area. Okay? So you're in C, now you go to G, you gotta go to D, here's one, so here we go. What I did was went to the D, I bent the C on the E string, and just that. Right back to your G. It's the most simple way and most tasteful way to get to it. So I hope that comes across correctly. So you're looking for stuff that is right by each other. You don't want to go from the G here to the C that's up here, to the D that's up here, back to the G that's up here. You want to stay in the same place if you can. And then if you got 2 solos in a row, take it up an octave. Then have fun up there, but still stay within the same area. I'll let this play by, and I'll show you exactly the notes that I was just discussing to you. Okay, so we're coming off that there's a C, and now we're back in G. So we're in G. Regular stuff. Now we're in C. Now we're looking for G, bend up to it. We're going to D, here's one. Going back to G. Okay, so you see they're all right there. So it sounds a lot better to basically shop at home. It's like internet shopping, but you want to, by home I mean as close to where you began. Try to stay in that same area, and if you see a C, you can go to that C, but when it's time to come back to G, don't chase it around the neck, way up here. Okay? So there's that. Another thing in the key of G, which you can't do in hardly any other key, is this particular lick. It's a, I'll just say open string, but it is simply pull-offs from 3-2-1. 3-2-1 meaning your frets. We're going to do the G string and the D string. So pull off all 3 of these. I'm only hitting it one time with my pick. Here's one of those cases where you can go ahead and bumblebee out, but then you better back it up with something soulful. Okay? And same thing on the D string. So we're doing both. Never sit there and hang around on one too long. You can get up to a C that way. And bend up to that C note because that's close to you, so you might as well bend to it. Blues loves bends. The more you bend, the better it is, it seems like. But you can do, and same thing on the D string, and play them back and forth. And that's a good one too. Open G string, and then slide up to the 5th fret, which is your G, on your D string. So that's 3, 5, or 5, 3, 2, 1. That's what I'm doing there. If you need that for any reason. So. There's your C. There's your G again. There's your D. Back to G. You haven't left right here. You chased the chords, but it didn't sound like you were doing it because you were going everywhere. Okay? Can you hear that? We're in G. G still. We're in C. We're in G. Here comes D. C. There's G. There's D. Back to G. We haven't left this area. So that's what you want to look for, is everything close to home. Okay, again, there was that lick. Okay, that's a good one for even exercises. Do it up and down every string. You can do that for an entire G lick if you want. Okay, it's very country sounding, but if you're playing a song that's actually fast enough, it blows by that fast. Now that sounds cool, don't it? And that is nothing but that. Okay, so just what I showed you. Now you're in C, do whatever you want. And don't always think that lead guitar has to be played way up here. I mean, it's cool, yeah, but not all night long. Just like anything, it gets old. If you ate pizza every single day, you know, it wouldn't be special anymore whenever you got the chance to have it. So, go for some of these low notes, okay? You could play stuff way down to here. If you could talk your band or whoever into actually laying back a little bit and letting you create some emotion out there. It don't all have to be up there and be screaming. If you can get them to back off, chill out a little bit, you can get these cool sounds out. So play them down low, play them mean, stay right there, and make it as first grade sounding as you can, and it's actually very cool. Make sense? Okay, now again, here in the key of G, we also have what most people don't get in every other key, we have our harmonics, which you can use. Okay, I'm not going to spend much time on here, but just know that it's there. If you have a guitar that will allow you to bend over the nut at all, you can actually do this. It's a quickie. You know you got harmonics at the 12th fret, and they're all going to be in G. They will be at the 5th fret also. That B string, you can bend over the nut, half step. Then there's your A string. Take 2 fingers, bend it up over top of the nut, up a whole step. It's just a cool sight gag, if you will. So it just it looks good. It sounds cool too. It's country flavored, but then again, country is very blues oriented. So that's just a cool, quick lick for you. As far as other licks go, let's do this one. This here's another Bumblebee lick. Sorry for the shake up there. We had an earthquake. Actually, I kicked the tripod leg. This one is also a good blues lick. It's one of the faster ones, but it's good for the rock and roll thing. It's good for everything. Every kind of song you can think of. It's just another quick hammer-on, pull-off thing. Let's do in the key of G, of course. This is where we're going to stay at till the end of the video. It's here. Bumblebee, but it actually is really cool. So we're doing hammer-on pull-off on the B string, 3rd fret and 6th fret. Same thing on the high E. B string, high E string, B string. And again, slide up to, when you're all done with this mess, the G, because what you're playing is a 7th here on the B string. If you bring it up a whole step, or you can, it always sounds cool sliding or bending. Okay, so you can bring it back, which is your G, that 7th you were on, then every single note down with a click, then, which is a cool one, quick lick for you. So or then you're back to C by flattening out over the G string and the B string right here on the 5th fret. Okay, so that's how you get from that. That's always a great way, and another transition, to go from the 7th, bringing it up to your C. So just doing that, and then back to your G, and play some low mean stuff. Okay? I mean, that stuff is really great. You gotta love the low stuff. There's not enough to be said for it. As much as you want to play up here, go ahead and do it. I'm not keeping you from it. I'm not trying to talk you out of it, but I'm trying to talk you into thinking other ways. If you already are happy with playing up here, then you wouldn't be picking up this video to try to figure out what else you're doing or could be doing. And not that you're doing anything wrong by playing up here. That's fine, that's great. I love it more than anything. But I'm just showing you that there's more to it than hanging up here with the hair metal guys. You know. But same thing, do all your licks way up here. But it gets tiring up there, man. People don't want to hear that stuff when they're wanting to hear blues stuff, if that makes sense to you. Okay? Now, another thing we can do is, I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, but real quick, the last thing I have to show you, and then I'm going to actually give you a couple tracks to just play along with, is pinched harmonics, basically. What these are how ZZ Top made these famous. That kind of thing. I've just got some overdrive on, not distortion, so it's not going to come out as much as distortion because I'm trying to invoke the blues more than I am rock in this particular video. But simply all I can tell you, and I can't totally explain this to you, I'll shut the guitar down, get rid of the amp hum. Take your thumbnail and your pick, and they both have to end up together. I don't know if you can see this, but not one over top of the other, but they both have to strike your strings at the same time. Your thumbnail, which you have to have a thumbnail of some degree, not much. Any other nails in your way, any other nails you have, just get in your way. These are too long. But get a little bit of a thumbnail on your right hand side, or your right hand, or your picking hand, whether you're left-handed or right-handed, on your picking hand. Put it close to there, and what you're doing is turning your pick sideways. And you are digging, if I can show you here. This here's one of the hardest things to show. So it's a matter of getting, like I said, with distortion, it would come out a lot more. But try to pick every now and then with those. You'll get them to come out better. Try your G string. And keep working with that. So it's just a bunch of clicky, clanky, squealy, squally stuff, but it is very cool, especially if you're doing the ZZ Top, bluesy type rock, that down home rock, that blues rock. I love that stuff. But if you're digging down deep into your low string, you can milk the heck out of one note with your thumb doing this whole picking thing, okay? So it's a matter of moving it around, finding out exactly where the harmonics are at on your guitar, and exactly how much distortion or overdrive you're using, but even halfway clean like we're doing today. It's nice to stick it into a couple notes. Don't overdo it. Some people tend to really overdo it. I've been known to do it when I first learned how. But it's nothing else I can teach you as far as that goes. That has to be something that you pick up on your own, but that's how it's done. You have to make it yourself. There's no teaching you this, just like there's no teaching you soul. Okay, so just work on trying to make that thing happen. Okay, now go back. I'm actually going to give you these tracks for the remaining, it looks like about, we're going to end up with about 10 minutes. I'm going to give you some tracks to do nothing but play with. There will be no more lessons from this point out, but I'm going to give you some the tracks that I've been playing with. You play along with them and get all your licks together. I'll get down here so I'm actually talking to somebody. Shut my guitar off. Once again, Scott Grove here. Just use all these, and like I said, rip them apart, dissect them, put them together again, but make your own sculpture. Don't use what I've already built. We don't need a second Mona Lisa in the world. Okay, so take all these different things. They're just tools, all they are. And once again, thanks for the request to do something on 12-bar blues. I love doing the 12-bar blues stuff. It comes from everywhere, like I said, from your actual blues to your Chuck Berry stuff, your ZZ Top stuff, your, almost every bit of music that has come out since the 30s, 40s, 50s, and even 60s. And a lot of people are still doing them today. It never goes away. But that is the way to actually get from one chord to another without everybody, especially your bandmates or any other musicians that might be in the crowd, knowing that you're just chord jumping. Like I said, that is very noticeable. So that's my input into how to get from one chord to another without anybody thinking that you're chord jumping, letting them know that you actually know what you're doing. So some of this takes some thought. What is my closest note if I am going to chord jump? Otherwise, just keep playing the same 3,000 licks that you already know in the key of G. And even though the C chord comes at you, stay in G. It does not matter on these songs. Stay there. Keep playing G. Don't worry about having to go to C, because all the notes are basically all in the same scale. And when you go to D, there's only one note you have to adjust, but you don't even have to do it here. It's not the law. It still will sound fine if you play it in all three chords in a 12-bar blues. So if you play G licks in G, C, and D, it's not going to matter. Just play them well. But I hope this helps out a lot. Once again, I'm Scott Grove. I'm going to give you this slow one here, the slowest version in G, jam along with it. Then I'll put in some of my other stuff, and we'll just keep jamming, and I'll tell you what they are when they're coming up, and you just jam along with them and enjoy, have a band to gig to, okay? So once again, Scott Grove, here comes your jam tracks, your loops. I might step in and out of frame, have a drink, who knows, but peace. Catch you there. Once again, we're going in G. Here's a slow one with the lovely Casio at the beginning, so enjoy it. And once again, also, any requests you have for videos, throw them at me. I'll be happy to do them, okay? And thanks again for asking for this one. Take care, guys. Have fun. Play loud. Here we go, in the key of G. And go. Okay, so there we go on the slow G. Go back, play with that anytime you want. It's yours. You paid for it. Okay, right now I'm going to take you back to the track that was, like we had, yeah, a rock and roll track in the key of A. So enjoy jamming with this one for a while. Like I said, this here's basically your Chuck Berry stuff on acid. So here comes your rock and roll track in A. I'll give you about 3 or 4 minutes of this one, then we'll go back to a blues track in A. Okay, so here comes your rock track. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we got time for one more. You get one more track, your blues track in the key of A. You guys have fun. I got to get out of here. So you got about 3 minutes of this to jam to. Enjoy it. Once again, Scott Grove, have a good time. Play loud. I'll counter out to you. There's a 2, a 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, we're in the key of A. Give it up for the band. You guys take care. Happy playing. Bye-bye.